Well, in the ongoing drama of who's going to buy Warner Brothers, we know there are three basic finalists. It's Paramount, it's Netflix, and it's NBC Universal Comcast. Now, there has long been this feeling that Paramount probably had the edge. They were the first one to come out of the gate and make an offer for it. They've put some big money behind and all that kind of stuff. But recently we talked about the fact that it seems like Netflix is getting a little bit more traction in it. And listen, before we go into the story, let me remind you guys, or for some of you who might be new around here, let me catch you up on the fact that from the moment we found out that Paramount was interested in getting Warner Brothers, I've had some positive feelings about it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not necessarily saying I would rather nobody buys it, but you know, ever since Ellison took over, Skydance took over Paramount, we haven't seen anything come out, obviously, but some of the plans they've put forward and some of the projects they're really hooking their wagon to has really quite been exciting to me. And maybe it'll be a big disaster, but at least their mindset has me kind of enthusiastic about some of the things Paramount might be able to do if they get Warner Brothers. Again, not necessarily saying they're my number one pick, not necessarily saying I'm hoping they get it, but I've been able to see some real positive upside potential if they did. But Rob, they just did something today that literally, for the first time, has me rooting against them. I now hope they do not get this, because they pulled a mafia, it'd be a shame if your nice storefront here got all busted up kind of move that oozes hypocrisy. Here's the story. This comes to us from Variety. Paramount's lawyers have just written a letter to David Zaslav, whining and crying like a little bitch. You guys are favoring Netflix. Let me read what it had here. It says the WB lawyers, in response to Paramount's letter to David Zaslav, wrote that Warner Brothers Discovery's board has fully and robustly complied with its fiduciary obligations. Now, I'm going to read a little bit at length because it's worth noting here. Lawyers for Paramount Skydance sent a letter to Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav expressing, quote unquote, grave concerns about the alleged unfairness of Warner Brothers Discovery's sales process. The attorney suggested the Warner Brothers Discovery board had embarked on a myopic process with a predetermined outcome that favors a single bidder. By the way, there was no crying and complaining when it looked like Paramount was in the lead. As soon as it looks like Netflix might be putting together, by the way, I'm not exactly sitting here cheering that Netflix gets it either, by the way.
No, but they got that all cash offer on the table.
They certainly do. But I mean, but they're suddenly, no. But now that it looks like, it's a real fight, now they're crying like a little bitch that you're favoring somebody. The article goes on to say this. The Warner Brothers Discovery Board is reviewing second-round bid submissions that came in on December 1st from David Ellison's Paramount Skydance, which is seeking to acquire the entire company in an all-cash deal, and Netflix and Comcast, which are bidding for just Warner Brothers streaming and the studios, the most valuable part of the whole package. Their letter goes on to say this. Paramount has credible basis to believe that the sales process has been tainted by management conflicts, including certain members of management's potential personnel interests or personal interests in post-transaction roles and compensation as a result of the economic incentives embedded in a recent amendments to the employment agreements, the December 3rd letter from Paramount Skydance lawyers to Zaslav said. The Paramount letter also alleged that it has become increasingly clear through media reporting, none of their own information, just from what they're reading in the media, it has become increasingly clear through media reporting and otherwise that Warner Bros. Discovery appears to have abandoned the semblance and reality of a fair transaction process, therefore abdicating its duties to stockholders and embarked on a myopic process. Sounds like they just learned that word that day. They had to use it twice. A process with a predetermined outcome that favors a single bidder. All right, I'm going to pause right here.
It's the word of the day, John.
Yeah. This is quite a myopic letter.
We're not going to have a myopic view of this situation.
No, because I want to point something out here.
Myopic.
The oozing hypocrisy of that last statement. because they're sitting there in this letter. Now, again, listen, if you guys watch my show for any amount of time, you know I've got a big piece of love in my heart for Paramount. I know some people at Paramount. I've up until this point, I've been actually pretty favorable about the idea of getting this. So I'm not some Paramount hater. If you guys watch my show, you know I'm not. But one of their accusations here in this statement is, hey, wait a minute. It kind of looks like your executives are biased here because Netflix may be offering some of your executives jobs. Fuckface! You're the ones who came out first and said, hey, if you sell Warner Brothers to us, we'll make David Zaslav co-CEO and co-chairman. You fucking hypocrites! You came out first and said, oh yeah, we'll give your top executive, we'll give him a CEO role. How about that? Sweeten the sugar a bit, right? Oh, wait a minute. We heard that Netflix never said this, by the way, but Netflix might be offering some role. You did the same fucking thing. You did the same fucking thing. You insufferable dickheads. I read that and I'm like, they can't be serious. They can't be serious. And then this letter was clearly written by somebody who has no idea how business works. Because then they're like, you guys are abdicating your fiduciary responsibility to your shareholders. Hey, numbnuts. They can't sell Warner Brothers Discovery unless the shareholders themselves approve the sale. The board does not get to choose who buys Warner Brothers Discovery. They can make a decision and make a recommendation to the shareholders. But once this whole thing happens, there's a 4-step process that happens here, okay? Number one, the board, first of all, the board has to approve it. The board says, yes. Let's go and let's take Netflix and Paramount out. Let's say Comcast Universal. We decided that we think a sale to Comcast would be great. Then what comes is something called a proxy statement. That is where the board puts together a letter that they send out to all the shareholders expressing what their recommendation is and why they're making the recommendation. The third step that happens is a shareholders meeting then. Now, this all takes time. This whole process takes time. There's then a shareholder meeting where the shareholders vote on whether or not to approve the sale. And they can, and all they need is majority plus one. That's it. They just need 50% plus one. That's all they need. The shareholders themselves. So this whole thing, and it's a majority rule, this whole thing that, oh, you're abdicating your financial responsibility. It's the shareholders who are going to be the ones that decide. The board will make a recommendation. The shareholders will be the ones who decide.
Pretty egotistical too, because you're insinuating that your offer is the most like fiscally responsible, and you're also showing your hand in desperation.
Yeah, I this is not a great tactic.
No, and then a little bit later in the letter, it has the audacity to say the thing out loud that a lot of people have been whispering. They basically suggest in the letter, be ashamed if your whole deal gets wrecked, because we're friends with President's fuckhole McDoucheface. And, you know, if you choose them, we just might have to use our corrupt connections to maybe try to sour your deal, which would lead, by the way, to biblical lawsuits. But that's another thing on the side.
By the way, that was a real amateur move to suggest that.
Yeah,
you don't do
really
that in
was.
writing. You know, that's something you do verbally where no one's recording you.
Not to mention the
not
court
a letter.
of popular opinion now, and oh boy.
Anyway, again, right up until today, up until just this morning, I have been on the boat of, hey, listen, I would rather Warner Brothers not sell at all, but I can see some downside, sure, but I can see some real potential if Paramount ends up getting it. There could be some exciting stuff. I also think that if Netflix keeps Warner Brothers intact and stays committed to theatrical releases for Warner Brothers films, I see some potential there too. There's also some good synergy with NBC Universal Comcast, obviously, but I've been fairly pro on the whole idea of Paramount getting them. And in one move, Paramount's managed themselves to take somebody who was kind of on their side to being, oh, fuck no, I want you guys to lose. I want you to burn. Now I want your whole studio to burn. That's not really true. But I mean, now I want this whole thing to blow up in your face now. So like, congratulations, Paramount. I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, it doesn't mean jack squat what John Campea thinks. I mean, not at all. It's less than meaningless. But I mean, if it's happened to me, I'm not the only one. Maybe it's not the majority of people, but I ain't alone. You just took somebody who was actually on your side and you turned me against you. You infantile morons. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Aura. Guys, if you are anything like me, you swear every year you're going to be on top of your Christmas shopping, and then suddenly it's December 20th, the shelves are empty, and you're standing around in Target asking yourself, does my aunt even like candles? But this year, I am not doing that because of Aura Frames. It's completely saved me. See, I always struggled with what to get people in my life, but this year I'm going to give out a couple of Aura Frames, and it's hands down the most personal, meaningful gift that I can possibly give. And here's the best part. Aura lets you upload unlimited photos and videos. Plus, the frame comes in a premium gift box with no price tag, so it feels like a classy, well thought out gift, even if you bought it last minute. Guys, you can't gift wrap togetherness, but you can frame it. So for a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames named #1 by Wirecutter by using promo code CAMPEA at the checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code Campea. This deal is exclusive to our listeners and frames sell out fast. So order yours now to get it in on time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning that we sent you at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Anyway, Rob, you saw this letter. What do you think of it?
I was a little perplexed by the tactics. I mean, it seems like, obviously Netflix has deep pockets and they made an offer saying, hey, we have deep pockets. Here's our offer. Well, that's when you counter. That's when you have to, okay, if our guys are up, if our opponents are upping the ante, what are we going to do to counter them? I mean, maybe they don't want to go up to $100 billion. I understand that. It makes sense to me. But writing this letter seems like amateur hour. This is not show friends. It's show business. Unless you're talking about your friendship with the current administration that you've now dangled in a letter. Not good. I mean, business is business. And, all the lessons in life, John, are contained in 2 Paramount movies, which apparently no one watched at Paramount. And that's Godfather 1 and 2.
That's right.
All you have to know about business and life itself, according to Steve Martin in the movie Grand Canyon, is in the Godfather movies. And I would even say Godfather 3 has lessons to learn. But Godfather 1 and 2, never tell anyone outside the family what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Never. Especially not in a letter. Not like that.
That's going to go public.
You want to do business with me? I will do business with you.
That was a straight Sonny move.
That's it, man. Yeah, that was a
damn
Sonny Corleone move. Yes. I mean, come on, guys. Watch Paramount's Godfather movies. You'll learn everything you need to know about life. But apparently the people at Paramount have not watched their own films, which doesn't surprise me, considering Section 31.
Get this. Now, what for any of you who watch any HGTV or been involved in buying a house yourself, right? What happened? What does a real estate agent tell some potential buyers who may not end up having the highest bid? They tell them, write the homeowner a letter. Write them a letter to tell them what it would mean to you to buy that house. Because sometimes it doesn't just come down to the bigger dollar value. Sometimes there may be other factors involved. And we've seen cases where, like, a homeowner says, yeah, this is a single mom who's getting herself going again. And yeah, her bid's a little bit lower than the others. Dude, you've got to endear yourself to the shareholders of Warner Brothers. And I don't think you just did yourself any favors to endear yourself to the shareholders of Warner Brothers.
No.
Ultimately, it's the shareholders of Warner Brothers who make this decision. And this letter ain't doing anything to further your cause with them. If anything, there might be some Warner Brothers shareholders now who are going, oh, yeah, who are the other bidders? Yeah, I just can't get over the monumental stupidity of this. And again, I'm just shocked by the oozing hypocrisy of complaining in a letter that there might have been some offers of jobs to executives at Warner Brothers if the deal goes through, when they publicly put out that we're going to give David Zaslav a co-CEO role. Like, that's the ultimate definition of hypocrisy. So, I mean, look, I don't know. Listen, a lot of things can still happen. Like, maybe this letter was sent by some over-eager department in the law department, in the legal department of Paramount, and maybe their bosses are looking at this now going, no, we didn't want to send that. Who knows? Maybe David Ellison himself is personally shocked at the letter and is going to refute it. I mean, I don't know. Who knows what'll happen? I like to believe in the best of people. But this was a dumb move, Rob.
And they've implicated the United States government.
Yeah.
Yeah. You literally just blew your like cover.
Yeah, you did. I mean, now they don't have a choice but to distance themselves from that. I mean, I don't know what I'm not an expert on business, but I know this wasn't a very Star Trek thing to do.
No. Plus, they're going to be making Rush Hour 4. Come on.
Yeah,
End that.
That's so weird that they're taking a Warner Brothers property, a New Line property, and now they're going to release that because President Trump told them to.
Yeah, it was so
look,
weird.
That's neither here nor there. I don't care. I mean,
I don't think it's a great move, though.
That's fine. No, I don't think it's a great move, but if it's what they want to do, it's what they want to do. I have no problem with that.
The crux of this letter, John. It's what gave them the courage to send this
That's
letter.
That's right.
Again, it's I don't understand how they thought writing this letter will help our cause. I don't see how anybody in their right mind would have sat down and said, yeah, this letter, this will help us towards our goals. No, it won't. No, it won't. Now, listen, at the end of the day, Paramount may legitimately still, all above board, may end up winning this bid. They may very well. But I'm just saying, them writing this letter hurt their chances. It didn't help them. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Pretty interesting letter the folks over at Paramount decided to write to Warner Brothers, thinking that it'll help their cause. I don't know. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.